As a Holden though, will it survive as a brand? What do you think?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Last bench talk of the year. Like we said, we were going to do them every week, didn't we? Every week, and now it's been about, I don't know, 5 weeks, 6 weeks? Oh, it's been terrible. End of the, busy time, but we thought we'd try and get one out. We're not in our usual surroundings, but it is what it is. So, let's get into it. Now, we've all been there on an on-ramp on a freeway. There's a truck or caravan or some just nufty grandpa, whatever, going slow and you want to get around him. This guy, it looks like he's in a, I think we've all been there. It's like 3 times a day for me. Looks like it's a HSV VE, maybe a GDS or a Club Sport or something. There's a semi-trailer, it looks like, you know, crawling up the on-ramp. The on-ramp's not that long. This guy's completely impatient, tries to undercut him. It's not even a lane, undercut him. Looks like the road runs out, like, you know, the guardrail runs out. And because he went up there with such speed, the sheer damage he did to this car, it's basically just been crunched front and back. The whole car is just destroyed. He would have had a seriously OSHIT moment, don't you reckon? When he seen that guardrail, he would have, what he was doing, like 150. But it's not, yeah, I know, it's not, he would have pulled the speed on. But I mean, if you watch, I watched this few times. He has got an LS under the right foot, so. I mean, but it looks like he was competing in the demolition derby and just went in for the kill. I mean, this car is just. It's a pinball machine, isn't it? Oh, it's bad. And but it's a surprising the amount of people who were just whinging that the truck's slow. It's like no, the truck was in both lanes, but I don't know why the truck's caught so much grief. They were on an on-ramp coming on. He's moved over to let the other truck move over, isn't it logic? And plus, when they would have done it, that car wouldn't have even been on the road. No, it would have been way back. But at some point when you're driving, yes, it's frustrating. You go, you know what? There's 2 trucks. I've just got to wait a minute and crawl behind them and then just take off when you get on the freeway. You can actually see the freeway in the distance too. Yeah, but it's not that far. When you've got long vehicles, you've got to be a little bit smart. Like, I mean, imagine realising that you can't see around them. You got people who just hate truck drivers. I mean, at some point you go, well, what if you're driving this truck? You can't, of course you're crawling up the hill. Where's the truck supposed to go? But I mean, this accident though, Jesus Christ. So what happened with the driver? Like, was he charged or was it deemed an accident or? I don't know. I just know that thing wouldn't even be at the auctions. I mean, this car, looked like the rear of the car was virtually pushed in, no boot, nothing. Just it looked like it had been hit at 200 k's an hour. The driver was okay. Yeah, he was, I think. Yeah, he was lucky, Jesus, because you see some of those stories, people hitting those guardrails, they end up inside the car. The only thing, and obviously important bit of the story is maybe it looked like it. As far as I can tell, the only thing salvageable out of this car was the LS. So that's the important bit. So there's a part out happening. I used to spend a fair bit of time in Collingwood, which is an inner northern suburb in Melbourne. And in terms of the road and the council, let's just say it's been slowly getting worse and worse. They got rid of the 40k speed limits around there. They're 20 slower. I think they're 25 kilometres an hour. In Melbourne? I don't actually understand. I mean, I don't know enough about road rules, but a council just... Do they dictate the speed limits, do they? Not the... Bit of a greeny... Thick roads or... Left-wing area, that one, isn't it? Oh yeah. Encouraging cars to slow down, especially when they're using a residential street like this one as a thoroughfare. So 25 k's an hour, I mean, it's about 10 miles an hour. It's probably too fast, but anyway, so now they're planting trees in the middle of the road.
Some locals say it's a busy street, others not so much. But Yarra Council thought it was busy enough to deserve traffic calming. Not a speed bump or a traffic island, but in this case, a tree in the middle of the road.
Planting trees instead of speed bumps, but apparently, I haven't personally seen them. They're causing road hazards because people can't kind of see around them and they're creating blind spots and stuff. The issue in a lot of those streets, there's no off-street parking. No. So all the cars are on the road to begin with. So it's not like, you can duck in and... I think this one looked weird though because it was a regular 2-lane road and not really any more room for a car. And then they've just planted a tree in the middle of the road and put a little, thing around it. And you think it's, what? You rock up and go, this is where I'm supposed to drive and I've got to kind of drive around this tree. It's a bit... Surprise a coal rolling Nissan GQ Patrol hasn't just like... Forget that. The dude in the HSV, he just needs the put the hammer down and just take that thing out as well.
A stock XR6 would beat this. You can't beat a Barra. Should have put in a Barra.
Now, this was the video that we made. How long ago is this? This must be 18 months ago. At least over a year ago. Now, this was meant to be a segment in Bench Talk, but when I edited it, it was just so long and stupid, or whatever. We just made it a video, right? And it was basically about an LS chopping Barras at a test and tune. And I know they're not really racing, but it was kind of to highlight the fact when the green light comes on, that Barras just sit there trying to build boost, whatever, 10-second reaction times, right? And it was just a stupid video, right? No, but the gist of the video is about people getting butthurt. But people still haven't worked that out. Like, they're getting butthurt about people getting butthurt. Like, it's just, can't you see the irony in your own comments? Can you just imagine how many times the maker of the vid got stretched by a Barra for him to go home and make that? Would have been crying while making 100%. Man, when I made this video, I went through 2 boxes of Kleenex because that many Barras had just gapped me on the street that day. Are you serious? You know the sad thing is, if you'd been gapped by like 50 Barras, can you imagine your ears? The noise you would have had, what's that air condition called? When you just got ringing in your ears? From those external gates that just sound like complete horseshit. But the guys at fullBOOST will still find something to hate about it. Bloody oath we will. They hate Barras, but probably feel they have to post about them because of the Aussie fan base. Pretty insightful. Now, you know how dumb that was? That was actually posted on the video of you doing a road trip in our mate's Barra up to Sydney and ran a 7th. But apparently you... So you've made... It was written like someone else had made this video. That was just weird. It's like, apparently you hate Barras so much, you'd gone with a mate's car up to Sydney in his Barra powered and covered it all. Because you hate him that much. So the second installment of the Barra in the VS Commodore project car by Pro Flying Fab. No Mang, exactly. There's been a lot of feedback on this engine conversion. It's a bit of a hit and miss for some people. You may see this like tearing out your balls and installing a brand new vagina. Please come and me. What the hell is that comment? I haven't seen that one. Now, I believe there's a little bit of triggering over that video Broomy and I did about his VF, his daily. It was just about a daily driver VF Commodore stock standard LS, LS2. Worst review I've ever read, apparently. This video has ruined your channel for me. This is by the biggest LS fan in the world, apparently. Because if there's one negative about the car... I think we need to insert a limiter. That's right there. Such a load of dribble, such negative, ignorant and pointless interview of someone I thought was a car enthusiast and maybe knew how to change Brembo pads or change a radiator cap. Okay. So, he actually gave his personal opinion. That was the whole point of it. And it's just because he doesn't like that personal opinion. Apparently Broomy, who we've shown how many times now, I don't know, building rotaries, fabricating everything, welding, doing wiring, electrical. It's a man of many, Broomy's just a man of many talents. Jack of all trades, right? But apparently he doesn't know how to change brake pads and a radiator cap. You've just caught us out there. Broomy, go back to trade school. Have they actually realised the car is under a warranty? Should we get to that? This was kind of touched on in the video. Why would he be servicing? You know about the radiator cap? Just for those experts out there, when we were filming it, we opened the engine bay because never opened the engine bay. Right? No, it's never been looked at. Never been looked at. We opened it, and Broomy was like, "Oh, the top hose is sucked in. Must be pulling air or something in." That was it. Never looked into it or anything. Like, do you honestly think we're sitting there going, "Why is it sucked in? I don't know what's going on." Honestly, all the things you are complaining about are senseless. First of all, it wasn't brand new. You didn't check it, however they fixed it. Hardly the fault of Holden, or just the bullshit dealer you chose to use. You chose. Just pointing out how nearly everything you were sooking about was your own fault, the truth can be uncomfortable. How's it his fault? So let me get this straight. In the video, Broomy clearly states the car is a Holden Commodore bought from a Holden dealer under an extended warranty. Repeat, Holden dealer. It wasn't a private buy, right? He gets the car home. After a day or so, he realizes these rear brakes are stuffed. They're no good. Car's got a roadworthy. Car's got a roadworthy. So according to this bloke, when Broomy picked up the car, he should have said, hang on, boys at Holden, I'm going to go over the whole car. Put the car back up on the hoist. I'm going to do my own roadworthy check, because even though you're giving me a roadworthy, and there's got to be some trust that maybe the car is roadworthy.
From a dealer.
From a Holden dealer, he's got to do his own roadworthy checks. Apparently it's all Broomy's fault, because they didn't obviously do the car properly.
And it's his fault that it, broke 2 steering racks, and he actually said the car's good. He was just pointing out Broomy's biggest issue wasn't actually the car itself. It was
dealing with Holden.
And honestly, the shit-house service by Holden. You hear stories like that, and you're just like, it's no wonder. I've never taken my car I took my car to a dealer once. It was a performance car, and then I get the car back, and they haven't even changed the oil filter. I'm like, this is the top line car you sell in this model, and you're not doing, it's got your performance engine in. You're not doing an oil filter. Oh, we only do that every second service, sir. We'd have to charge you for the oil filter. I'm like, yeah, it's like $25. Why wouldn't you just change it? Needless to say, never went there again. Went to an independent dealer. Like, if you've got a warranty on the car, you have to get it logbooked.
Exactly.
You can't just, I'm just going to do this myself.
And people are like, why don't you service yourself?
You could if you want to, but then when it comes time to sell it...
Still got to go back to the car. Yeah, but you've voided your warranty if you don't get it serviced.
I know, but also when you sell it, people want to see the logbook.
That's irrelevant. You should be servicing yourself. Can't you cover the warranty in the garage here?
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is a weird one. On the same video, I have no relevance to this video, but this just caught my eye. Can any Neanderthal here give a legitimate reason for wanting horsepower on a public road? Take your shit heaps to the track and enjoy them, not on the street.
But the funny thing is, it's interesting the video he chose to write it on. Could be more irrelevant.
He's been calling us out on everything here. Stop promoting fast street cars on your channel. Promote safety like Peter Brock did.
Is this guy alright? On a video about a standard car that he didn't even drive the
car.
But
let me get this straight. We've been doing these videos for what, 20 years? When have we been covering illegal street racing? We've never been doing street racing videos. We actually show all the footage at a dedicated racetrack in a controlled environment, but apparently we're being called out because we're showing street cars. And apparently we're calling them street cars.
You know this guy's Sylvester Stallone.
I am the law!
The majority of your videos have fast car titles.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit, because they're street cars.
They're street cars.
So you're telling me a car can't do both?
And I love the hypocrisy of these people. They act like all high and mighty. Are you telling me that you've never, not once, given your car in a safe environment, like on the road though, just roll into the throttle? Like they've never done it ever.
But hang on. If we're saying this is a street car, and what's so impressive about it is it's not a dedicated race car, and it's running times quicker than most people's race cars. Mm-hmm. They're heavy. They're not lightweight race cars. And look how fast these cars are. It's still a street car. Just because a street car's run an 8-second time slip, we're not allowed to call it a street car.
They can't comprehend if you go to the track and go fast, and then on a Sunday night you can go down the road, cruise around, get a pizza.
All of us, and you know what happens when cars leave street meets, street car drag events. Not all, but some act like f***wits. This connection between race car and street car bullshit needs to be stopped.
What the heck's he going on about?
So this guy can't.
So he thinks we come out of Calder Park and there's someone dropping a flag and we're going down the street.
So you're happy with this generation driving 6,000 to 2,500 horsepower on a public road? Because I don't know how many 2,500 horsepower street cars are going around, but even so, even if the car had 2,500 horsepower,
isn't it the driver, not the car? I mean, you can be a complete tool. Most of those people getting in trouble at these crappy skid meets, they're all absolute shitheads.
This guy's just throwing everyone in the same basket. Just because some dickhead runs amok on the street, does that mean everyone with a modified car is a moron? No, actually, most people I meet with modified cars are actually pretty respectable.
But hang on, didn't you do a little bit of digging on this guy?
Yeah, we did find some, I don't know if we should show them, but we did find him screwing around the street. That's what was funny.
He's got his own YouTube channel of him in a modified car on the street. Now, what is this guy thinking?
Why would you want to modify a car and drive it on the road? What percentage of the time do these 7 to 12 second street cars spend on the road, and how do they behave like behind the wheel? With, so I bet you. Saying on once again, you're stereotyping everyone. Oh yeah. What's he going on about 12-second street car? You know how many cars from factory now would run a 12? That's a factory street car. So VW is selling, I don't know, a Golf R, that probably runs a high 12, wouldn't it? Probably does. Would we? Well, something like that, right? Yeah. Does that mean that's not a street car anymore? You can't call that a street car. And it's funny, like people seem to think as soon as a car reaches a performance level, it's not a street car. That's actually their excuse. Oh, well, that car's got 1,000 horsepower. It can't be driven on the road. Sounds like you got a real smart-ass attitude here, son.
You better know who you're dealing with.
I'll see you at the next event and had a chat.
I'm the hootin'est, tootin'est, shootin'est, bobtail wildcat in the West.
Bit worried now. Jordan, you're gonna have to get a you're gonna have to go incognito. I don't know, and get a moustache or something.
Morning. Good day to you, sir.
You know what? Yeah, you can come talk to us at a racetrack because that's what we show cars at a racetrack. Because we've actually never shown these street cars on the street as you say we are. Maybe he just needs to actually go speak to someone who actually promotes street cars racing on the track. Go to America, there's heaps of that stuff. Not giving it to any other YouTube channel out there, but there's plenty of YouTube channels who glorify street racing, and that's one thing we don't. I mean, that's not us. That's not us. Each to their own, but that's not us. We don't do that. All of our stuff is on a dyno, at a racetrack, or we're just talking about the car. Even videos where we might be in someone's car, we don't act silly. Cruising around. But thanks for the life lesson. We'll be sure to son, change our ways. Listen here, boy. This guy's going on about, the fast street cars. But I mean, when you can get a Barra into the 8s for $2,000. $2,000. What are you supposed to do? I mean, we're supposed to be labelling all these Barras race cars now because they're not street cars? In $2,000, I mean, if you spent $1,000, you're probably going to run a 9. So, I mean, at least a 990 for $1,000. I believe I've heard you can run 7s for about $3,600. But I mean, with that a little amount of outlay, $2,000 for 8 seconds, I mean, it's little wonder that we're all driving race cars on the street. Race cars, yeah. Now, one of the worst trends in the last few years, I mean, I'm pretty open to car stuff, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I don't necessarily like, but fair enough, other people like it. But there's one thing that just should be just outlawed, is this stance crap. It is the absolute pits. I don't understand. It's like people are trying to make a real life, it's almost like a Transformer car, isn't it? And drive it on the street and somehow think it looks good. Wheels are like this. It doesn't, how can anyone say it looks good? It's atrocious. It's like, let's hit your car, it's scraping on its belly, it can't do anything, it's wobbling because the suspension's so stiff. The wheels are like, it's like, oh, it's camber, yo, bro, brah. Like, I don't understand it. What about this one, was it in Fukushima? There's some event called Stance Nation in Fukushima. Now maybe, I'm not, between you and me, maybe there's something in the water there, Fukushima, what's going on there? But, look at this guy, he can't even get the car off the trailer. How did he get it on? Well, he's obviously the bumpers are off the car and everything, I think, because obviously there's no way in hell this
That's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
What? Can't they airbag the car to lift it up? It wouldn't matter. That's what looks weird. Like, the car is so low, scraping the ground, they can't just drive anywhere. A pebble.
I don't know, and the wheels are actually sideways, like...
But that crap, seriously, it's just got to stop.
Great success!
One movie I've been looking forward to, now I haven't even seen it and it's out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it out in Australia?
I think so now, yeah.
Ford versus Ferrari, they named it that because a lot of people, it's about Carroll Shelby, but obviously a lot of people would have no idea who that is, who aren't really into cars.
But it's about the Ford versus Ferrari and how obviously Ford kind of built a car in a very short time to take on Ferrari, who was
based on a true story. I'm sure it's...
it's stretched a bit, the old storyline. But
yeah, but people are triggered. This is by a writer who's like, they get paid to write vlogs and drink lattes and that sort of thing, right? During all 152 minutes of the film,
Men dominate the screen for 98% of the time, and when I say men, I mean white and straight. Now, if you've seen the movie, what are your thoughts on that? Were you, like, really triggered about the type of people in it? Christian Bale and Matt Damon. Apparently the movie's really good. I'm going to go see it, but I don't understand why people have to politicize everything in life, you know what I mean? It's just a movie. Go and enjoy it. Now, have you seen this? We're always talking about the roads, aren't we? But this one's a bit, I don't know. Mobile phones. I think, in all honesty, I think mobile phones are the biggest problem on the roads.
Oh, they're a massive issue.
Apart from merging and keep lifting and us overtaking. But I'm talking about in terms of driver distraction. They are shocking. Absolutely shocking.
And when you see people driving and they're literally like, there's a picture of the guy, both hands, the thumbs are up, and the missus is leaning in, holding the steering. You can see a hand here holding the steering straight, and he's just like this. What?
I don't really have a problem with phone cameras. And people can turn around and go, "What? Yeah, but what's the difference with speed cameras? I don't know how you can compare someone on the phone to doing 2 k's over the speed limit.
Speed kills. You serious?
Murder, death, kill.
But the problem is, you've bred an entire generation of people who think that if they don't speed, they're safe. And everything else they do on the road's irrelevant. That's what the problem, they're so distracted.
And there's an argument too, like people go, well, you're just watching the speedo, and people go, you shouldn't have to be watching the speedo. Well, you kind of do when there's a tolerance of nothing.
People who say that are full of shit. Like where I live, it's very hilly.
Yeah.
Right? And you're telling me you can drive for 5 or 6 kilometres and not look at your speedo and not break the speed limit? Mate, you're going to be like
because you can't
60 cars behind you.
You can't put it on cruise because the cruise won't keep up, especially in a manual car down a hill. Forget it. Or you get the nufties who just do 20 k's under the speed limit everywhere. They're terrible.
Yeah, but they caught. You see, in New South Wales, they trialled them for 1 week?
1 week now. They only just turned it on.
3,300 people. I think they scanned like 100,000. Was it more?
3,300 people they caught. They're only giving out warnings because the actual fines don't start till March. And the fine is 5 demerit points. This is in New South Wales.
You know what I don't actually get? Why is there a grace period?
Yeah, I don't know. Because they already trialled them. Then they basically turned them on, and then they're still giving warnings. It's like,
I don't know. I would have thought they just would have, knowing, Revenue Australia, they just would have got everyone. But I've seen it reported, everyone tells me, like, some people are saying, like, say if you've got your phone in a cradle, and your phone goes.
So your phone's like, say, in a magnetic cradle on the dash. It's not touching it.
Bluetooth or whatever, you got an FM transmitter or something. So you're not,
you're not holding
it's going through the car. It rings. Are you allowed to touch it? Now, I've been told you're allowed to touch it to answer a call. Yeah, but...
Because how's that different if it was on a car that had... But most cars will have controls on the steering wheel.
I know.
But what's the difference between tapping that or tapping this button?
Your hands... Yeah, but I've read in conflicting news reports on the same website, one report will say, no, you can't touch it. Another report says you can touch it. And then a friend of ours was told just recently that you can touch it to answer a phone call. But then I've had other people
by a policeman?
Yeah, by a policeman. But you can... But then I've had other people saying, no, you're not allowed to touch it. I don't understand. What is the difference? You touch the phone to answer it as opposed to touching the volume on your stereo.
I actually don't buy it. I think if your phone's in a hands-free cradle, you're allowed to answer a call. You can't sit there scrolling your phone book looking up someone to make a phone call. But you are allowed to just hit
But then there's been reports saying, this is where it gets even more ridiculous. Let's say you've got navigation on your phone. You're allowed to touch it to control the volume because let's say you can't hear it and you want to turn it up. The article said that you can touch the navigation to turn it up, but you can't touch the phone to answer a call. That's the Jackie Chan.
I don't buy that at all. That's just because the cop's just going to see you playing with a phone. They're not going to know what you're doing on it.
I reckon it's so open to interpretation, and I think there's going to be. I mean, the cameras don't lie. Like that picture they had, the guys on the phone. I think the lady steering. That's a open and shut case, that one. But there's going to be so many. There must be so many people now though that obviously claim they're not on the phone, but it's terrible. At the lights, like, light goes green, count to 3.
And they're rolling out, I think in Victoria, new speed cameras on, which I'm guessing they're on freeways, because they're saying they can detect 6 lanes of traffic and both ways, not just on the side of the road they're on, but both ways. That's doing what, 101 and 100 zone?
That's a worry.
But if you just don't speed, you won't pay the fine. Simple as that.
absolute bootlickers. That is the
I'm going to get a
worst.
spray can and just I'm going to draw a circle around your feet, and if you step out of that circle...
There's no argument though. When you press them about it, they don't actually have an argument. They just say, just don't speed.
I always say, if you're on imagine a freeway, whatever the road is, say it's a freeway, it's a perfect sunny day, there's not one thing, weather's fine.
Perfect driving conditions.
Perfect conditions, exactly. Yeah. You're doing 103 in 100 zone, right? Really? You can get fined for that? Okay, same road, it can be torrential rain, and you can do 100, and then you're not breaking the law. And then someone will go, no, but you got to drive through conditions. They go, no, it's not about that. It's about what's legal.
100%. Unfortunately though, the situation with the roads, I think in Australia, is never going to get better. It's just going to slowly get worse.
And then you've just got more police-style tactics.
And I think what they said, 2,000 new licenses a week, cornflake licenses. Like, it's so. I find it so frustrating driving now. I get out on the road early, and I come home late. That's it. If I have to do stuff in the middle of the day, if it's not within 10 minutes of my house, there we go.
Originally a true blue Aussie icon, the Commodore will be no more.
Unfortunately, Australians have fallen out of love with sedans and passenger cars just in general.
Sad day for Australian manufacturing. Actually, there's no manufacturing. But the Commodore's dead. It's actually dead. You know the dumb thing about it is the Commodore is long dead.
Commodore is over.
But it is over as if over Red Rover. She's all gone.
At the end of next year, 2020, no more. They're not going to sell anymore. Now, what have their sales been like? Pretty shit.
Actually, I should have done some research. Have they not sold 5,000 cars this year? Is it? No, it can't be that bad. Can't be that bad. Is it that bad?
No,
is it that bad?
95,000 down to under 5, I think.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I think from memory, is it right in 12 months their sales, Holden sales have dropped 48% or something?
The entire brand.
Yeah, as a brand. Mazda's pretty bad too.
The only thing they probably sell is a Colorado.
Yeah, but even there,
they drive around, but you see way more of the other brands.
I'm pretty sure, is it Ranger, Hilux, and I think even the Mitsubishi Triton. They all sell more than the
You have
Colorado.
to wonder Holden.
Holden.
You have to wonder Holden though overall as a brand. Forget the Commodore. As a brand, are they even going to survive?
I understand the market's gone to SUVs and all that, but as an SUV, they're not that appealing. I don't know.
Holdens.
No. I don't know. Like
a small car.
If you're buying an SUV, right, that is pure vanilla motoring. Like, it's just got to get to A to B, be reliable, right? The rest of it, like, so you're going to go and buy a Toyota or a
Korean car.
Yeah, I know. How many Kia?
People about Korean cars. You go look at the value. Look at the amount of features they put in these cars for the money.
You can buy a car like sub 40 grand, 7-year warranty.
Fully loaded.
It's got all the latest bits on it. And I don't really hear people having issues with it. You can go and buy a
Holden Arcadia, whatever the hell that is.
Do you hear people really having... I mean, I know there's always issues with every brand. Some people has issues
here and there.
But overall, you don't really hear people having issues with Kias and Hyundais.
But as a Holden, though, will it survive as a brand? What do you think?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Pretty hard market, because the actual market's down, I think, 8 or 9%.
Overall, I think the worst new car sales since the GFC or something.
Mitsubishi are up. They sell nothing. No Evos, nothing. I mean, most manufacturers have something, I guess you could say, in the performance sector. Most car brands, there's something they sell. I mean, like Toyota have got the Camry.
Whoa! Something Holden could import, but they won't, is I saw a new Cadillac Escalade. Now that's not a small car, but I do like how they put technology in cars, like at a really fast pace.
You honestly think people are going to buy them though?
38-inch dashboard. The screen is the dashboard is just basically multiple screens. 38 inches, which I realise isn't that actually bigger than your family living room standard def plasma from 1982 that you still use?
I bought it for the 2005 Ashes series. Thank you very much. You know how you think
shittest TV ever, and he's still got it. The frame is as fat as the TV.
Hey, it's got. You know why I bought it? I bought it in 2000. This is what shows you how fast technology.
Oh, that was
moves.
Expensive.
That's 2005. I bought it. Coming up 15 years ago, I was the only person I knew who had a flat screen TV.
And it costs like $2,600.
Yeah, it was a best part of $3,000. It's, you know why I bought it? It was the only one on the market. It had a HD downscaler. So you could feed HD into it, and I still got. You know, honestly, why I haven't upgraded it?
It hasn't blown up.
It hasn't blown up. It's got 2 fans in it. It's got 2 full thermo fans going off in the back. There's that much heat coming out of it. But in all honesty, I don't watch TV. Like, when it actually blows up, I'll replace it. But yeah, I know 38 inches in a dashboard. That's crazy. That technology is, you know how thin panels are and everything. It's amazing.
Now, one thing we haven't mentioned, we'll mention it now. That's obviously been everything on the internet is this Tesla Cybertruck.
We're a bit late on that, aren't we?
We should have had a Doug DeMoro video straight up now. I mean, everyone had these videos up 2 seconds later, and they're going on about a car that doesn't exist.
Why I've putting a deposit down on a Cybertruck. Oh, good for you. Like, $100 deposit that's fully, you know, refundable. That's really putting yourself out there. Like, in all honesty, if it was $1,000 non-refundable, how many deposits do you reckon they would have had?
There's people commenting here, oh, I'm going to get one. You think, firstly, it won't even come here. And
You've got no idea of the price.
Half the design features are pulled up too, so they're saying it wouldn't even pass design rules. Like, it didn't even have side mirrors, and that's a small thing. They reckon there's a million things wrong with that design that one didn't pass. So that it's realistically, they should have just said it was a what do you call them? Like a it's like a demo. What do you call it? Like
it's a concept.
It's a concept car, really, and it's just so much hype. It's like fanboys.
You know, the credit to Tesla. Like, it's brilliant marketing.
But people here talking about buying it, I'm pointing out, going, do you know how big this truck is? It's like
it's the size of an F truck.
Go and get an F-250 or something, a new one. Okay, then go try and park it at your local Woolies. Okay, our car parks are half the size of American car parks. You will not fit this anywhere.
Yeah,
it's massive.
Everyone says, you know, it looks disgraceful. I'll be honest. If that was coming down the street, you'd take notice.
Of course you would.
You'd be like, that looks unreal.
It looks like something out of like the original Total Recall.
That's you know
what's hilarious about it, right?
It's from a 1980s sci-fi movie, isn't it?
I'm not familiar with that address. Would you please repeat that?
But exactly, if you saw that coming down the road, you'd actually go, that looks crazy.
You know the troop carrier in Aliens? That's what it reminded me of, the front of it. It looks, yeah, cool as. It's out there, but I didn't look at it and go, well, you just look at it and go, you know, it's one of those designs, and you think, they always water them down.
Weird though, some people talking to us, it's like, if you're not so impressed by this thing, there's something wrong with you. And you're like, wait, you can't just have one critical thought about this car?
But it is a concept, whatever, it's a concept car. It's like that, you know, this Tesla Roadster that's apparently
going to run 6s in the quarter.
Yeah, fair enough, right? And it's all cool. But let's wait until the actual thing's on sale.
I know.
And then
people start using stats comparing it to real cars on the road, and you go, it doesn't exist.
That doesn't seem to be relevant. Where can I go and drive one?
Yeah. And I bet you, like anything, not that it won't be unreal, but I'm sure it'll be slightly different to a concept. I mean, look, if I saw a Tesla Cybertruck, I wouldn't be disappointed to see that in the road here. I'm going to be bloody awesome. But I'm just saying, the odds of it coming out here and looking like that, who knows?
Well, it might come out here, but it'll be 5 years after it's released in the States.
And Australia, it'll be 300 grand.
I think you look at the American market, and you think you'd be silly not to try and develop an EV pickup.
Yeah.
Because of how many are sold over there. It's such a massive market, you know. A lot of people do crap on about the range, and I think the range anxiety is true. Like, if you've got something that can do, say, 400 kilometres...
Isn't that the same as Z85 anxiety?
It pretty much is, isn't it?
Driving around, jerry cans.
But I don't know, I mean, people will be like, oh, I mean, I can't drive it to Alice Springs and back. And it's like, well, for the most of the population...
Because of the weekly runs they're doing there, yeah.
Yeah, but like, if you're, you know, making those salesman trips to twice a day to Swan Hill, you're going to be in trouble with that thing.
700 Ks every morning, so...
Hey, you know what? I reckon it'd be cool if Tesla actually built and sold this thing. Now, on a lighter note, we just want to thank everyone for their support during the year. It's been a good year. We've got a few, you know, projects on the go.
We've had a fair increase in subscribers too.
Yeah.
Past the 300,000.
You know, my biggest issue, like most people, is time. Because I've got a lot of my hat in quite a few different, you know, doing a lot of things at the moment. But we've got a few cool things coming out next year, so keep an eye on that. We've also got a lot of new merch, including we've got what's this one? Female, women's tees.
That's girls' tee.
Girls'
So
tees.
they're navy.
Navy. These are navy full boost tees as opposed to the black ones you and I have on. Now these ones, I actually haven't worn these ones. You've been wearing these. I haven't actually worn one yet. They're really good quality. So this is all New Zealand AS Colour t-shirts. These are long sleeve. These are long sleeve navy. Long sleeve in navy. And we've also got, a lot of people have asked us for kids stuff. Look how tiny this thing is. That little print. Yeah. That's a size 6, but if there's any interest, we could get some different sizes
kids
made.
colour.
Now I believe you got yourself one.
Got myself custom made.
You're gonna wear that at the racetrack, are you?
You'll see me wearing this piece next week.
And we've got lanyards. These are cheap as. If you guys want a lanyard, get on them. But until next year, have a safe. Well, this should be out this year.
If I edit this, hopefully in record time, it should be out in 2019.
I don't know if it's going to be out in time. It should be. But anyway, have a really good new year, whatever you get up to. Have a good break, and we will see you in 2020.